Rise, Meg.
The Force will be with you.
Hello my dear friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm Star Wars Meg, here to give you all of the news from a galaxy far, far away, and as always to provide you with a Mandalorian Season 2 update. So in today's news we have some really exciting updates to do with a big mystery of Grogu that is finally going to be resolved in Season 3. We're also going to be talking about creatures that could become canon in the Ahsoka Tano series and more. Before I get into the news, please may I ask you to hit like down below, subscribe to the channel if you're brand new, and a big welcome if you are, and please be sure to hit the notification bell to be alerted each and every time I post new content to the channel. You can expect daily Star Wars updates from me. Also, please be sure to check out yesterday's theory video where I talked about how Force Ghost Yoda spoke to Luke and told him about Grogu. But without much further ado and without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. So my friends, we're going to start with an interesting article from Inverse which talks about the big mystery that needs to be resolved in Season 3 and allegedly will be according to insiders at Lucasfilm. So now let's look at this article. We have to ask ourselves the question, why was Grogu kidnapped in the first place? As he was whisked away by Luke Skywalker into some kind of Jedi daycare, the question that began the journey of the Mandalorian has still not been answered. Throughout both seasons of Mando, we slowly learned a tiny bit more about Grogu, the Mandalorian sect Din Djarin belongs to, and the overall politics of the post-Return of the Jedi galaxy. However, the plot point that set everything in motion is yet to be revealed. How did Grogu find himself in that strange warehouse on Nevarro, and what did Moff Gideon want with him? Of course we know that he wanted to harvest some of Grogu's blood, but to what end? Regardless of what happens with Luke, Bo-Katan and Mando himself, Season 3 of Mando will have to address this question. Now before I continue with this specific article, there is a different one that has emerged over the last 24 hours which talks about how this is actually going to be resolved in The Mandalorian Season 3 through flashbacks when Luke has Grogu and looks into his past to discover how he ended up on Nevarro. Now by all means let me clarify, I'm not saying we're going to see him being rescued from Order 66. This is probably something that's going to be done in the Kenobi series. But according to this new rumour, we are going to see what happened to Grogu after Order 66 and how he ended up on Nevarro. So now let me carry on with the Inverse article. What was Gideon's plan all along? Overwhelmingly, the most popular theory to explain Moff Gideon's scheme is that the events of The Mandalorian represent the beginning of Palpatine's infamous resurrection in The Rise of Skywalker. Poe Dameron said somehow Palpatine came back, and perhaps the how in that statement is that Moff Gideon harvested enough midichlorians from Grogu to get a decent Sith clone body prepared for a reborn version of Palpatine. Presumably the problem with the regular clone of Palps is that it might lack the necessary midichlorians to sustain all of the dark side of the Force action. Also, I'm sorry I said Palps, I mean Granddaddy Palps of course. Dr. Pershing often referred to Grogu as the donor, which means that there is someone who is receiving this blood. The good money seems to be on that someone being Emperor Palpatine. So logically, this leads to the question of will Palpatine appear? At the point in which Luke Skywalker appeared in Season 2 and Ahsoka is talking about tracking down Grand Admiral Thrawn, the simple answer to this question is simply why not. But here's the thing. We're far more likely to see strand casts and even the creation of Snoke than we are to see the finished product of Palpatine. I think they want to keep the sequels the way they are and not kind of tamper with them in a way. And as such, we're probably going to see Snoke rather than Emperor Palpatine, or rather the cloned Palpatine, come back. On a very related note, I think it's worth stating that Moff Gideon and the Imperial Remnant are not finished with Grogu just yet. I do think there's going to be more tragedy, more push and pull in The Mandalorian Season 3, and they might even need more blood from Grogu, or more trouble will arise which will result in Din Djarin reclaiming his child. So with all of that in mind, let me know what you think of this in the comments down below, and let's move on to our next article. So this one is about the Ahsoka series and how it could make the weirdest monsters in Star Wars history canon again. Dreams can come true, says Inverse. Ahsoka Tano's live-action appearance in Mando was the culmination of years of fan casting and speculation for Star Wars lovers. So Lucasfilm's announcement of the character's own Disney Plus live-action series is just more delightful icing on the cake. The upcoming series is currently in development alongside 8 more new Star Wars shows. With so many stories and plots to develop, The creative minds behind Star Wars may be enticed to look back at the franchise's multimedia past. The non-canon elements of Star Wars lore known as legends. Buried deep within that is a creature that would pose as a major problem for Ahsoka as her journey continues. Timothy Zahn's iconic novel Heir to the Empire is often considered the centerpiece of the Legends novels. In it, the Imperial strategic genius and art lover Grand Admiral Thrawn seeks out a species of strange lizard-like creatures known as the Salamiri. In order to exploit their unique defense mechanism, they emit a bubble around them that allows them to repel the Force entirely. The Salamiri use this to evade their natural predators, the Force-sensitive Vornskers. For Thrawn, these creatures are key to leveling the playing field against the heirs of Darth Vader. Thrawn was so beloved by fans that Dave Filoni brought him back for Star Wars Rebels, making the Legends character canon, but not the Salamiri. The only currently official references to these lizards are in the art behind Thrawn, as he's shown scheming. It's not too late for these little reptiles though. With Ahsoka mentioning Thrawn in her Mandalorian appearance in Chapter 13, it's safe to assume that's who she'll face off against in her spin-off. But there is a problem. Ahsoka's Force sensitive and Thrawn is not. Not even the most genius of plans can replicate Force powers. Therefore, Thrawn could use the same tactic against Ahsoka, forcing her to face off against him using only her cunning. A meeting of the minds between Ahsoka and Thrawn would definitely be another dream come true for countless Star Wars fans. As cool as Force powers are, they're not so cool that they make for a boring victory over a non-Force sensitive villain. The Salamiri could be the great equalizer an Ahsoka versus Thrawn conflict needs, and would provide an adorable creature with Grogu levels of potential merchandise. Of course, before any of this can happen, Ahsoka needs to track down Grand Admiral Thrawn. But when she finds him, we're sure to have quite the fight on our hands, especially if the Salamiri are involved. What do you guys think of this? And furthermore, what is the most exciting thing about the Ahsoka Tano series in your personal opinion? I'd love to hear your comments down below. That is all of the news I have for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please be sure to leave me a big fat like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you next time. I'm Star Wars Meg, wishing you a phenomenal rest of the day, no matter where you dwell in the galaxy. Have a good one.